Karen attacks trans teen at mall, then a renowned advocate steps in. How will this story escalate? To find out, watch the video to the end. But first, please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications to get more stories like this. The mall was bustling with activity, shoppers weaving in and out of stores, chatting, laughing, and enjoying their weekend. Among them was Alex, a quiet, introverted teen who had come to the mall to look for a new outfit. Alex's recent journey of self-discovery had been both liberating and challenging, and while the mall wasn't always a comfortable place, today felt different. Alex had finally embraced their true identity as a transgender individual and was working on rebuilding confidence. Shopping for clothes that felt authentic was a big step. Walking through the brightly lit corridors, Alex stopped at a trendy clothing store. Inside, a diverse crowd browsed racks of vibrant shirts, jackets, and accessories. The staff was friendly, and Alex appreciated the welcoming atmosphere. They selected a couple of items and headed to the fitting room, their heart pounding but hopeful. Emerging from the fitting room in a sharp, blue button-up shirt that felt just right, Alex caught sight of their reflection. For the first time in years, they smiled genuinely at the person staring back. It was a small victory, but a significant one. They decided to buy the shirt and a few other items, feeling lighter as they headed toward the food court. Unbeknownst to Alex, someone had been watching them. A middle-aged woman with a sharp, disapproving glare. Karen, as she was known to friends and family, had always prided herself on being a defender of traditional values. Today, she had taken it upon herself to patrol the mall, her self-appointed mission being to correct what she perceived as societal wrongs. When Karen spotted Alex, she immediately zeroed in on their appearance, her mind filling with judgmental assumptions. In her eyes, Alex represented everything she didn't understand and didn't want to accept. Karen muttered something under her breath and followed Alex at a distance, her irritation growing with every step. As Alex reached the food court, they decided to treat themselves to a bubble tea, a reward for stepping out of their comfort zone. Standing in line, Alex scrolled through their phone, unaware that Karen had positioned herself just a few feet away, watching like a hawk. The confrontation began innocently enough. Karen approached Alex, a tight smile on her face. "Excuse me," she said in a tone that was anything but polite. "I couldn't help but notice you earlier. Are you a boy or a girl?" Alex froze. They had encountered rude questions before, but the public nature of this moment made it particularly jarring. "I'm just me," Alex replied, trying to keep their voice steady. Karen wasn't satisfied with the answer. "No, I mean, what are you really? You can't just be. People need to know." Several heads turned as Karen's voice grew louder. Alex felt their chest tighten, panic setting in as the situation escalated. "I don't owe you an explanation," Alex managed to say, their voice trembling but firm. Karen scoffed, shaking her head. "This is what's wrong with the world today," she declared, addressing the growing crowd. "Kids these days don't even know who they are. It's confusing for everyone." The scene was drawing more attention, and Alex could feel the weight of dozens of eyes on them. Embarrassed and overwhelmed, they tried to walk away, but Karen wasn't done. She reached out and grabbed a lock of Alex's hair, holding it up as if to make a point. "What even is this? Are you trying to look like both? It's ridiculous," Karen exclaimed, her voice dripping with disdain. The crowd murmured, some people pulling out their phones to record the incident. Alex, struggling to hold back tears, tried to pull away, but Karen's grip was firm. "Let go of me," Alex shouted, their voice breaking. The commotion caught the attention of mall security, who began making their way toward the scene. However, before they could intervene, another voice rang out, sharp and commanding. "That's enough." All eyes turned to the source of the voice. A tall, poised figure stepped forward, Riley Harper, a nationally recognized advocate for LGBTQ+ rights and a public speaker known for their work in creating safe spaces for marginalized communities. Riley happened to be at the mall that day for a meet and greet event at a nearby bookstore, and they had been alerted to the incident by a concerned bystander. Riley's presence was immediately commanding. Dressed in a sleek blazer and exuding confidence, they approached the scene with purpose. "Let go of them," Riley said, their voice calm but firm. Karen, startled, released Alex's hair but didn't back down. "Who do you think you are?" she demanded, turning her ire toward Riley. "This is none of your business." Riley didn't flinch. "It absolutely is my business when someone is being harassed and humiliated in public," they replied. "What you're doing is not only cruel but unacceptable." Karen, emboldened by the crowd, crossed her arms and glared at Riley. "I'm just speaking the truth," she said. "People like this kid are confusing everyone. Someone needs to set them straight." Riley's expression didn't waver. "The only thing confusing here is your behavior," they said. "You're targeting a young person who's done nothing wrong. What exactly do you think you're accomplishing?" Karen opened her mouth to respond, but Riley held up a hand, cutting her off. "Let me make one thing clear," they said, their voice steady and measured. "Your opinions do not give you the right to humiliate or harm others. If you can't show basic decency, then you need to walk away." The crowd, which had been murmuring quietly, erupted into applause. Karen, visibly flustered, glared at Riley one last time before turning on her heel and storming off. Alex, still shaken, looked up at Riley with tears in their eyes. "Thank you," they said softly. Riley placed a reassuring hand on Alex's shoulder. "You didn't deserve that," they said gently. "Are you okay?" Alex nodded, though their voice wavered. I didn't know what to do." "You did exactly what you needed to," Riley replied. "You stood your ground. That takes courage." Mall security arrived moments later, and Riley briefly explained the situation. The security team reviewed the footage captured by bystanders and promised to address the incident with mall management. Meanwhile, Riley stayed by Alex's side, offering words of comfort and encouragement. The ordeal didn't end there. As news of the incident spread, fueled by videos posted online, the story quickly went viral. Within hours, hashtags like #StandWithAlex and #StopTheHate were trending on social media. Messages of support poured in from around the world, with people applauding Alex's bravery and Riley's intervention. Local news outlets picked up the story, and soon, Alex found themselves at the center of a national conversation about acceptance and allyship. Riley, recognizing the opportunity to amplify the message, invited Alex to join them in a series of interviews and public appearances. The days following the mall incident were a whirlwind for Alex. What had begun as a humiliating experience turned into a rallying cry for change, with countless people stepping forward to express their support. Still, Alex struggled to process the sudden attention. They had always tried to keep a low profile, preferring the quiet anonymity of their life. Now, their name and face were everywhere, tied to a moment they hadn't asked for. Riley, understanding how overwhelming it must be, reached out to Alex personally. They invited Alex and their parents to meet at a local cafe to talk things through. Alex's parents, initially hesitant, eventually agreed. They had always supported their child but were unsure how to navigate this new, very public chapter of their lives. When Alex and their parents arrived at the cafe, Riley greeted them warmly. Their presence was calming, and Alex felt an immediate sense of relief. Over cups of coffee and tea, Riley listened as Alex shared their feelings about the incident and the sudden wave of attention. "I didn't want any of this," Alex admitted, their voice trembling. "I just wanted to have a normal day at the mall. Now, it feels like everyone is watching me." Riley nodded empathetically. "It's a lot to take in, I know," they said. "But what happened to you struck a chord with people because it reflects something so many of us have experienced. Your courage has inspired others to speak up." "That's powerful." Alex's parents chimed in, expressing their concerns. "We're proud of Alex, but we're also worried about the backlash," Alex's mom said. "Not everyone is supportive. Some of the comments online have been cruel." Riley leaned forward, their expression serious. "Unfortunately, that's true. There will always be people who resist change and lash out in fear or ignorance. But there's also an incredible community of allies and advocates who will stand with you. You're not alone in this." They paused, then added, "If you're willing, I'd like to help you navigate this. Together, we can use this moment to raise awareness and create something positive out of what happened." Alex hesitated. The idea of speaking out publicly was daunting, but Riley's words resonated. They had felt so powerless during the confrontation with Karen, but now, an opportunity was emerging to reclaim their voice and turn the narrative into something meaningful. "I'll think about it," Alex said finally. Riley smiled, sensing a glimmer of determination in Alex's eyes. Meanwhile, the online movement continued to grow. People from all walks of life shared their own stories of harassment and resilience, using the hashtags that had emerged in support of Alex. Artists created illustrations and graphics inspired by the incident, some depicting Alex as a superhero standing tall in the face of adversity. Activists organized rallies and events, calling for greater acceptance and understanding. One of the most poignant moments came when a video surfaced from a bystander who had witnessed the incident. In the video, Karen's aggression was juxtaposed with Alex's quiet bravery and Riley's steadfast defense. The video ended with Riley's powerful words, "Your opinions do not give you the right to harm others." It was shared millions of times, becoming a rallying cry for the movement. As the weeks passed, Alex began to feel a shift within themselves. The support they received gave them strength, and they started to see the incident as an opportunity to contribute to a larger cause. With Riley's encouragement, Alex agreed to participate in a public event, a panel discussion on inclusion and allyship organized by a local LGBTQ+ advocacy group. The event was held at a community center, and the turnout exceeded everyone's expectations. The room was packed with people of all ages, eager to hear from the panelists. Alex sat on the stage alongside Riley and other advocates, their nerves palpable but their resolve firm. When it was Alex's turn to speak, they took a deep breath and stepped up to the microphone. "I've always been someone who preferred to stay in the background," they began, their voice shaking slightly. "I never wanted to be the center of attention. But what happened at the mall made me realize that staying silent isn't always an option." They paused, gathering their thoughts. "That day, I felt powerless. I felt like I didn't matter. But the support I've received since then has shown me that I do matter. We all do. And I want to use my voice to make sure no one else has to feel the way I did." The audience erupted into applause, some people wiping away tears. Riley placed a hand on Alex's shoulder, their pride evident. The panel discussion marked a turning point for Alex. They began to take a more active role in advocacy, partnering with Riley and other organizations to promote inclusion and challenge prejudice. Together, they visited schools, community centers, and businesses, sharing their story and encouraging others to stand up against hate. Karen's name faded from the headlines, but the impact of her actions lingered. The mall where the incident occurred implemented new policies and training programs to ensure that all shoppers felt safe and respected. Security staff received additional training on handling incidents of harassment, and the mall even hosted a pride event to celebrate diversity and inclusion. As for Alex, their confidence grew with each step they took on their advocacy journey. They began to see themselves not as a victim, but as a survivor and a leader. Their story became a source of inspiration for countless others, proving that even in the face of hate, resilience and compassion could prevail. Months had passed since the mall incident, but its ripple effects were still being felt in Alex's life and beyond. Alex had become a symbol of courage, not just for the LGBTQ+ community, but for anyone who had ever faced bullying, harassment, or injustice. With Riley's guidance, Alex continued to step into their role as an advocate, finding a new sense of purpose in helping others. Their first big solo initiative came when Alex was invited to speak at a high school assembly about acceptance and resilience. The invitation came from a principal who had been moved by Alex's story and wanted their students to hear it firsthand. Alex was nervous. Public speaking was far outside their comfort zone, but they also knew how important it was to share their experiences. Standing on the stage in front of hundreds of students, Alex gripped the microphone tightly. "I know what it's like to feel different," they began. "I know what it's like to be judged for who you are. But I also know what it's like to find strength in that difference and to use it to create change." They went on to describe the mall incident, not shying away from the pain and humiliation they had felt, but also emphasizing the outpouring of support that had followed. "That day, I felt alone," Alex said. "But I wasn't. And neither are you. There's always someone who will stand with you, even when it feels like the world is against you." The students gave Alex a standing ovation, and afterward, Many of them lined up to thank Alex personally. Some shared their own struggles, and Alex listened intently, offering words of encouragement and solidarity. Meanwhile, Riley had been busy organizing a national campaign to promote LGBTQ+ inclusion in public spaces, and they asked Alex to join them as a co-spokesperson. The campaign, titled Stand as One, aimed to educate the public about the importance of creating safe, welcoming environments for everyone, regardless of their identity. It included a series of powerful video ads, one of which featured Alex. In the ad, Alex stood in the center of a bustling mall, the same one where the incident had occurred. "This is where it happened," Alex said, looking directly into the camera. "This is where I was made to feel small. But this is also where I learned how strong I could be." The ad then cut to scenes of diverse groups of people, families, friends, co-workers, coming together in support of one another. The tagline appeared on the screen, "Stand as One, because everyone deserves respect." The campaign was a massive success, reaching millions of people and sparking conversations across the country. Schools and businesses began adopting Stand as One training materials, and Alex became a sought-after speaker at events and conferences. Not everyone supported the movement, of course. There were detractors who criticized Alex and Riley, accusing them of pushing an agenda or being overly sensitive. Alex received their fair share of hateful comments and messages, which sometimes felt overwhelming. But they had learned how to lean on their support system during those moments of doubt. Riley was always there to remind Alex of their strength. "Hate is loud," Riley would say, "but love is louder. Focus on the people who believe in you, because they're the ones who matter." Alex's parents were another source of unwavering support. Though they had initially struggled to understand Alex's journey, they had become fierce allies, attending every event and proudly sharing Alex's accomplishments with friends and family. Their transformation was a testament to the power of love and education. As the Stand as One campaign continued to grow, Alex and Riley received an invitation to speak at a major LGBTQ+ conference in Washington, D.C. The event was attended by activists, politicians, and community leaders from around the world, and it was a chance to make an even greater impact. Alex was given the honor of delivering the keynote speech. Standing at the podium in a packed auditorium, they took a deep breath and began. "When I think about that day at the mall, I remember the fear, the humiliation, and the anger," Alex said. "But more than that, I remember the people who stood by me. I remember how one person's courage inspired me to find my own." They continued, "We all have the power to create change, whether it's by standing up to hate, educating ourselves, or simply showing kindness to someone who needs it. Change doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with us." The audience erupted into applause, some people standing and cheering. Alex felt a swell of pride, not just in themselves but in the community they had found. A community that had embraced them and given them the strength to thrive. Back at home, the mall where the incident had occurred underwent significant changes. The management team worked closely with Riley and other advocates to implement new policies, including mandatory diversity training for all staff and security personnel. They also created a community advisory board to ensure that the mall remained a safe and inclusive space for everyone. To celebrate the progress, the mall hosted an event called Unity Day, featuring performances, art exhibits, and workshops centered on diversity and inclusion. Alex was invited as a guest of honor, and they used the opportunity to thank the community for their support. "This isn't just my story," Alex said during their speech at the event. "This is our story. And together, we've shown that love and acceptance will always be stronger than hate." The success of the Stand as One campaign had far-reaching consequences. What began as a local incident turned into a nationwide movement, inspiring countless people to share their own stories of resilience and advocacy. For Alex, the whirlwind of public speaking engagements, campaign promotions, and media interviews was a stark contrast to the quiet life they once led. One of the most profound moments of Alex's journey came when they received an invitation to meet with the governor of their state. The governor, an outspoken advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, wanted to personally thank Alex for their courage and the positive change they had sparked. Alex was stunned. Never in their wildest dreams had they imagined sitting down with a political leader to discuss issues that were so personal to them. When Alex and their parents arrived at the state capitol, they were greeted warmly by the governor and their staff. The meeting took place in a grand conference room, but the atmosphere was relaxed and welcoming. The governor listened intently as Alex shared their story, nodding with empathy and admiration. "What you've done is remarkable," the governor said. "You've turned a painful experience into a catalyst for change. That takes incredible strength." Alex blushed, still adjusting to the idea of being seen as a leader. "I just wanted to make sure no one else has to go through what I did," they said. "If sharing my story can help even one person feel less alone, then it's worth it." The governor smiled. "You've done far more than that, Alex. You've inspired an entire movement, and I want to support you in any way I can." The meeting wasn't just symbolic, it led to tangible action. The governor announced plans to introduce legislation aimed at protecting LGBTQ+ individuals from discrimination in public spaces. The proposed law, nicknamed Alex's Bill by supporters, would mandate anti-discrimination policies in malls, restaurants, and other businesses across the state. Alex was invited to testify at a hearing for the bill, a daunting but important step in their journey. Sitting before a panel of lawmakers, Alex spoke passionately about their experiences and the need for change. Their testimony was met with applause from supporters in the gallery, many of whom held signs bearing messages of love and acceptance. The hearing was a turning point in the legislative process, garnering widespread attention and support for the bill. When it was eventually signed into law, Alex was invited to the signing ceremony, where they stood proudly alongside the governor and other advocates. As Alex's advocacy work continued, they also focused on building connections within their community. They partnered with local schools to create workshops on inclusion and allyship, ensuring that young people had the tools and knowledge to stand up against bullying and discrimination. They also volunteered with organizations that provided support for LGBTQ+ youth, offering a listening ear and words of encouragement to those who were struggling. One day, while visiting a youth center, Alex met a teenager named Jordan. Jordan had recently come out as non-binary and was facing rejection from their family. They were shy and withdrawn, but as Alex shared their story during a group session, Jordan's eyes lit up with recognition and hope. After the session, Jordan approached Alex hesitantly. "I just wanted to say thank you," they said, their voice barely above a whisper. "Hearing you talk about what you've been through, it makes me feel like maybe I'll be okay too." Alex smiled warmly. "You will be okay, Jordan. It might not be easy, but you're not alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. And you're stronger than you know." Meanwhile, Karen, the woman whose actions had sparked the entire movement, faced her own reckoning. The viral video of the mall incident had made her infamous, and the backlash was swift. She lost her job and became the subject of widespread criticism. Karen eventually issued a public apology, claiming that she had learned from the experience and was committed to changing her ways. Alex had mixed feelings about Karen's apology. Part of them wanted to believe that people could change, but another part remained skeptical. Regardless, they chose to focus their energy on the positive outcomes of the situation rather than dwelling on Karen's actions. As the years passed, Alex's life evolved in ways they could never have imagined. They went to college, majoring in social work with the goal of helping others navigate challenges similar to their own. They continued to speak at events and advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, but they also found time to enjoy the quiet moments that they had once cherished. Alex's parents remained by their side through it all, their love and support unwavering. They often marveled at how far their child had come, from a quiet teenager to a confident and inspiring leader. "You've changed so many lives," Alex's mom said one evening as they sat together on the porch. "We're so proud of you." Alex smiled, their heart full. "I couldn't have done any of this without you," they replied. "Thank you for believing in me." Years later, Alex's story was still inspiring people across the country. What had started as a traumatic experience at the mall had blossomed into a powerful legacy of resilience, advocacy, and love. Alex's name became synonymous with courage, and their journey was often cited as a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Alex decided to write a memoir, capturing the highs and lows of their journey in their own words. The memoir, titled Stand as One, My Journey to Acceptance and Advocacy, became an instant bestseller. It detailed not just the mall incident but also Alex's personal struggles, triumphs, and the lessons they had learned along the way. The book resonated deeply with readers from all walks of life, many of whom reached out to Alex to share their own stories of resilience and hope. During the book tour, Alex visited cities across the country, meeting readers and hearing firsthand how their story had impacted others. At one event, a mother approached Alex with tears in her eyes. "My son came out to me last week," she said, her voice trembling. "He told me your story gave him the courage to be himself. I can't thank you enough." Alex hugged the woman, their hearts swelling with emotion. "That means everything to me," they said. "Tell him he's perfect just the way he is." Beyond the book tour, Alex continued their advocacy work, but they also started to explore other passions. They discovered a love for photography, capturing moments of beauty and connection in their community. Their photos, often featuring diverse subjects, were displayed in galleries and online, further spreading their message of inclusion and acceptance. Alex also began mentoring young activists, sharing the wisdom they had gained over the years. One of their ments, a high school student named Mia, was particularly driven. Mia wanted to start an inclusion initiative at her school, and Alex worked closely with her to develop a plan. The initiative, called Bridge the Gap, brought together students from different backgrounds to foster understanding and empathy. At the launch event for Bridge the Gap, Mia gave a speech thanking Alex for their guidance. "Alex taught me that one person's voice can make a difference," she said. "They showed me that even in the face of adversity, we can choose to stand together." Meanwhile, the broader impact of Alex's story continued to unfold. The Stand as One campaign had grown into a national organization advocating for LGBTQ+ rights and inclusion across multiple sectors. Alex served on the board of directors, working alongside Riley and other leaders to shape the organization's vision and strategy. One of their proudest achievements was the creation of the Alex Scholarship Fund, which provided financial support to LGBTQ+ students pursuing higher education. The fund was launched with an outpouring of donations from individuals and organizations inspired by Alex's journey. At the first scholarship award ceremony, Alex delivered a heartfelt message to the recipients. "You are the future," they said, looking out at the audience of bright, determined young people. "Your voices, your stories, your dreams, they matter. And I can't wait to see the incredible things you'll accomplish." The mall where the incident had occurred also became a symbol of change. It was transformed into one of the most inclusive spaces in the region, hosting regular events celebrating diversity and supporting local LGBTQ+ businesses. A mural was commissioned to commemorate the Stand as One movement, featuring vibrant images of unity and love. At the center of the mural was a depiction of Alex, standing tall and proud, a reminder of how far they, and the community, had come. On the day the mural was unveiled, Alex stood before a crowd of supporters, their voice steady but filled with emotion. "This isn't just about me," they said. "It's about all of us. It's about what we can achieve when we refuse to give in to hate and choose to stand as one. Thank you for standing with me." The crowd erupted into applause, and Alex felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They knew the journey wasn't over, there was still work to be done, battles to be fought, and lives to be changed. But they also knew they weren't alone. Together, they had built something lasting, something powerful. And that, Alex thought, was more than enough. Years passed, and Alex's influence only grew stronger. Their name was no longer just a symbol of resilience and advocacy, but a representation of a world shifting towards greater understanding, inclusivity, and compassion. Alex's memoir, their work with Stand as One, and their outreach efforts continued to touch lives worldwide. Alex's contributions didn't go unnoticed. They were honored with numerous awards, including the Human Rights Advocacy Award and the National Medal of Courage, presented by the President. During the award ceremony at the White House, Alex stood on stage, humbled and reflective. "Courage doesn't mean you're never afraid," Alex said as they accepted the medal. "It means standing up anyway, knowing that the fight is worth it." I dedicate this honor to every person who has ever felt unseen or unheard. You matter. Your story matters. And together, we can build a world where everyone belongs. The applause was thunderous, and as Alex stepped down from the stage, they were greeted by a sea of faces filled with admiration and hope. At home, Alex's life remained grounded in their family and community. They made it a priority to balance their public work with personal moments of joy and connection. They spent time with their parents, often laughing and reminiscing about how far they had all come. Their parents' transformation from uncertainty to unwavering support had become one of Alex's greatest sources of strength. I still can't believe all you've accomplished, Alex's dad said one evening as they sat around the dinner table. You've done more in a few years than most people do in a lifetime. Alex smiled, their eyes glistening with emotion. I couldn't have done it without you both. You taught me what it means to love unconditionally. One of Alex's most meaningful projects came years later when they decided to open a resource center for LGBTQ+ youth and their families. Named The Haven, the center provided counseling, support groups, educational workshops, and a safe space for anyone in need. It quickly became a cornerstone of the community, helping countless individuals navigate their journeys with acceptance and confidence. The grand opening of The Haven was a joyous occasion, attended by hundreds of people whose lives had been touched by Alex's story. Among them was Jordan, the teenager Alex had met years earlier at a youth center. Now a confident young adult, Jordan had become a counselor at The Haven, dedicating their life to helping others. During the opening ceremony, Jordan took the stage to share their gratitude. Alex changed my life, they said, their voice steady but full of emotion. They showed me that I'm not alone, and they gave me the courage to be myself. Because of them, I'm here today, ready to help others the way they helped me. Alex's heart swelled with pride as they watched Jordan speak. It was moments like this that reminded them of the ripple effect of kindness and advocacy. As Alex reflected on their journey, they often thought back to the mall incident that had set everything in motion. What had once been a source of pain and humiliation had become the foundation of a movement that changed lives. It was a testament to the power of resilience, community, and the belief that even the darkest moments can lead to light. On the anniversary of the Stand as One campaign's launch, Alex returned to the mall for a special event. Surrounded by friends, family, and supporters, they stood in front of the mural that had been created in their honor. It was a moment of gratitude not just for how far they had come, but for the countless people who had stood with them along the way. This is just the beginning, Alex said, addressing the crowd. There's still so much to do, so many hearts to reach, and so many lives to change. But I know we can do it. Together, we can stand as one. As the crowd cheered, Alex looked out at the sea of faces, each one a reminder of the power of unity and love. They knew the journey would continue, but they also knew they were exactly where they were meant to be. And that, Alex thought, was the greatest victory of all. In the years that followed, Alex's journey became more than just a story of resilience. It evolved into a movement that transcended generations. As they grew older, Alex shifted their focus from direct advocacy to mentorship and legacy building. They spent their days working closely with emerging leaders, helping them navigate the challenges of activism and empowering them to create meaningful change in their own communities. One of Alex's proudest achievements was the establishment of the Stand as One Legacy Fund, an endowment designed to support LGBTQ+ initiatives worldwide. The fund provided grants for education programs, safe spaces, healthcare initiatives, and advocacy campaigns. Alex's vision was to ensure that their work would continue long after they were gone, spreading love and inclusion to even the most remote corners of the world. As they reflected on their life, Alex often thought about the transformative power of forgiveness. Over the years, they had chosen to forgive those who had wronged them, not because the pain they caused was insignificant, but because holding on to anger no longer served their purpose. One day, Alex received a letter from Karen, the woman whose actions at the mall had sparked the entire movement. In the letter, Karen expressed her deep regret for her behavior and described how Alex's story had changed her life. She wrote about her journey of self-reflection, the steps she had taken to educate herself, and the work she now did to promote acceptance in her own community. Karen asked for Alex's forgiveness, though she admitted she didn't feel she deserved it. Alex read the letter with a mixture of emotions but ultimately chose to respond. "Forgiveness doesn't erase the past," Alex wrote, "but it allows us to move forward. I hope you continue to use your story to create change, just as I've used mine." In their later years, Alex decided to step back from public life, finding peace in a quieter existence. They moved to a small town where they spent their days tending to a garden, painting, and writing poetry. Despite their retreat from the spotlight, Alex's impact remained undeniable. People continued to visit the Haven and participate in Stand as One programs, and Alex's name became synonymous with hope and courage. One day, a young visitor knocked on Alex's door. It was Sammy, the teenager Alex had met during an international trip years ago. Now an adult, Sammy had become a prominent advocate for LGBTQ+ rights in their own country. "I just wanted to thank you in person," Sammy said, their eyes shining with gratitude. "You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Everything I've accomplished is because of you." Alex smiled warmly, inviting Sammy to sit on the porch. They spent hours talking, sharing stories, and reflecting on how far they had both come. For Alex, this moment was a reminder that their work had truly come full circle. As Alex's life drew to a close, they felt an overwhelming sense of fulfillment. Surrounded by loved ones, they expressed their gratitude for the journey they had been on and the people who had walked beside them. In their final moments, Alex's thoughts turned to the mall, the mural, the campaigns, and the countless lives they had touched. They knew that their legacy would live on, carried by the people they had inspired and the change they had ignited. And as Alex took their last breath, they left the world with a heart full of love and a life that had truly made a difference. Alex's story became a legend, told and retold as a testament to the power of resilience, compassion, and the unwavering belief that one person's voice can change the world. Years later, Alex's legacy had grown into a movement that spanned the globe. Schools, organizations, and communities continued to carry forward the message of Stand as One, ensuring that future generations would know the importance of love, resilience, and inclusion. Alex's work had touched countless lives, and their name became a beacon of hope for anyone fighting for acceptance and equality. One evening, at a global conference for human rights, a towering mural of Alex was unveiled in their honor. The mural, painted by artists from diverse backgrounds, depicted Alex standing proudly, surrounded by scenes of unity and love. The crowd erupted into applause as the sheet covering the artwork was removed, revealing a vibrant tribute to a life that had transformed the world. Alex's closest friends and family stood at the front of the crowd, tears glistening in their eyes as they saw the mural for the first time. Jordan, who had once been the timid teen seeking guidance, now stood confidently as the lead organizer of the conference. Taking the stage, Jordan addressed the audience with a steady voice. "Alex taught us that one person's courage can ignite a global movement," Jordan said. "They showed us that even in the face of hatred, love will always prevail." Today, we honor not just Alex's life, but the lives of everyone who has carried their message forward. Because of Alex, we know that together, we can stand as one. The crowd cheered, their voices united in celebration. Alex's parents, standing side by side, held hands as they gazed at the mural. It was a bittersweet moment for them, knowing that their child's journey had inspired so many but wishing Alex could be there to see it. In the quiet aftermath of the conference, a small group gathered at the Haven, Alex's flagship resource center. It had become a place of solace and inspiration, with walls adorned with photos, quotes, and letters from people whose lives had been changed by Alex's work. At the center of the room stood a simple plaque that read, "In loving memory of Alex, whose light will never dim. Together, we stand as one." As the group shared stories and memories, a young person approached the plaque, their fingers lightly tracing the words. They had only recently learned about Alex's story but felt an immediate connection to their message. "They changed everything," the young person said softly. "Because of Alex, I feel like I belong." The group nodded, their hearts swelling with pride. Alex's story had become more than just a memory. It was a living testament to the power of love and the enduring strength of the human spirit. In the years that followed, Alex's impact only deepened. The Stand as One Legacy Fund grew to support initiatives in countries where acceptance and equality were still distant dreams. The Haven expanded internationally, bringing resources and hope to LGBTQ+ individuals and their families across the world. Alex's story became a cornerstone of human rights education, taught in schools and universities to inspire future leaders. Documentaries, books, and films continued to bring their message to new audiences, ensuring that Alex's legacy would never be forgotten. On the anniversary of the mall incident that had started it all, a special ceremony was held at the very spot where Alex had once stood, humiliated but unbroken. The mall, now a hub of inclusivity and love, had been renamed Unity Mall in honor of Alex's work. The mural that had once been defaced was now fully restored, and beneath it, a bronze statue of Alex was unveiled. As the crowd gathered, holding candles and wearing shirts emblazoned with Stand as One, Jordan stepped forward to address them. Alex showed us that even in our darkest moments, we can find the strength to rise, Jordan said. They reminded us that no act of kindness is too small and no dream of change is too big. Today, we honor Alex not just for what they did, but for who they were, a beacon of light in a world that needed it most. The crowd raised their candles, their flames flickering against the night sky. Together, they stood in silence, reflecting on the life of a person who had transformed pain into purpose and division into unity. As the years rolled on, Alex's story continued to inspire. And though they were no longer physically present, their spirit lived on in the countless lives they had touched, the movements they had sparked, and the love they had left behind. Because of Alex, the world was a little brighter, a little kinder, and forever changed. And in the end, that was their greatest legacy.